list? Did I already maybe have a binder? Did I really need to get a new one? Did I already have an empty notebook or filler paper? Did I really need to get more sheets? So if you already have some of the items on your back to school list or on a shopping list, use those before you get new ones. And I know that some of you may not be so crazy about this, but if you have older brothers or sisters and their stuff is still perfectly good, you can use that. Now, for instance, my sister has a tendency for going through binders really quickly. So I picked up one of her binders and started using it myself. And sure, she had put her name all over it, but you know, after so her name is Adriana. She had written Adriana. The really cool thing you can do is write "is stupid" after that. So you can use hand-me-downs from your sisters and brothers. Sign up, and this one is, it depends on whether you want to get like good deals of maybe a free cookie on your birthday or something, but sometimes stores will have things where they give you a special deal if you're part of a customer program. So that's something you can do. It depends on how much email you want to get. Find out whether local restaurants have days where kids eat free or get discounted meals. So raise your hand if you have a local restaurant that has a kids eat free day.
Kids eat free day.
Anybody around here?
Happy birthday? No.
I see like one raised hand. Okay, and anyway, you know, actually, this group, we might be too old to take advantage of that deal, so that one, if you have little brothers or sisters, though, that can be something to watch out for, because a lot of restaurants will have, you know, under 12, under 13, under 10, eats free. Now, another thing, raise your hand if you have a thrift store or a secondhand store nearby you.
Thrift stores, guys? I shop at thrift stores.
Great! So, thrift stores, secondhand stores would be Goodwill, Value Village, all of these, and also local ones. So, now, you might think, I want new clothes, not something that's been worn by someone else, but wouldn't it be kind of fun to imagine that your skirt was once worn by someone half across the world, or someone who's, and it's kind of fun to shop at secondhand or thrift stores because you don't know who had it before you, and you also get to know that you're saving money. And another cool thing about thrift stores and secondhand stores is that often they provide jobs to those who are less privileged, and so you know that you're really supporting the economy. Now, another thing you can do is support your friends, neighbors, and your own wallet by buying a garage and yard sale. So raise your hand if you ever have a garage and yard sale yourself.
Do you have a yard sale? I've had a yard sale.
I see you go raise hands. So this is a great way to get rid of. So you might have a lot of stuff from when you were a baby or from when you were really little, and you think, well, it's in really good shape, but I'm never going to use that again, and I don't really want to hang on to it until I have kids. So why don't we find a way to sell it? And so other people can make use of stuff you don't need anymore. You get money, they get something pretty cheap, and it's really a great way to have benefits all around. So garage and yard sales. Now raise your hand if you made anybody Valentine's Day cards. I see a lot of raised hands. You know, adding a personal touch to the holidays can be really fun. Instead of buying a factory cranked out gift at the store, which are fun too, but if you hand design or if you draw or if you put together something that's special for that person, then that can be a really great gift. And you can think about what you're good at. If you're good at knitting, you can make someone a scarf or a sweater. If you're good at drawing, you can make them a portrait or a painting. If you're good at glue and crafts and all that kind of stuff, maybe a scrapbook. So there are lots of ways you can have personal gifts that are fun to make and that take less money. Don't buy based on brand names. So raise your hand if you've ever made a purchase because you look at it and you think, oh, that's Dolce & Gabbana, or that's Chanel, or whatever brand it is. Raise your hand if you've ever made a purchase because of a brand name. I have to say that I have, although it was cereal, not clothes. I was like, oh, that's Kellogg's, yay! But don't buy based on brand names. Because some brands may be super expensive and more expensive than others. So why do you think that is? Why do you think that some brands are more expensive than others?
Better?
Why do we think some brands might be better than others?
Because they're known.
Because they add expensive ingredients.
Expensive ingredients. Some products are better known. What else? Why else might things cost more than others?
Because they want.
Some higher quality, last longer.
Well,
The company's greedy, I heard too.
the company is greedy. Yeah, you know what? I think that the last one is very, very possible. The companies are greedy. Now, when you have a product, and a lot of the reasons brand names rise to success is, at least in the beginning, their product is pretty good, or it's fashionable, or people like it. So a lot of people start buying it. Now, does anybody know what supply and demand is?
I know what supply and demand is. Anybody? Think about it.
You're supposed to know that.
You're supposed to know that.
Adora didn't go to college. She knows what it is. Am I correct?
Well, supply and demand, and this is a really interesting thing to think about. So supply, let's say you have 10 skirts. 10 skirts. Now, what is the demand? What is demand? So you have 10 skirts, that's supply. What is demand?
Say it loud.
People want it. Very good. But let's say 28 people want it. So then you have to start making more skirts, and where supply and demand meet, that's where your price is set. Now, if demand is really high but supply is really low, then that means that you're going to get a much higher price. Why is that? Because there will be some people who think, that costs too much, and won't buy it, which means that some people who are willing to pay that money will. Now, and that's how brand names work. If they begin making that piece of clothing, a lot of people want it, but they're only making this much, then they will raise the price so that fewer people end up buying it, but it often also creates more demand, because if somebody hears, oh, that's a super expensive skirt, they might think, if it's super expensive, it must be good, which is not always true. So remember, just because something costs a whole lot doesn't necessarily mean that it's any better. It could just mean that a lot of people want it. And it's also a thing in marketing. And that is another whole aspect, because the brain works in funny ways, and a lot of companies have been thinking, how can I make a label look better? How can I fold a shirt to look neater so that people will want to buy it? Does anybody know what a unit price is? Unit price.
Yeah.
Great, who would like to tell me what that is?
Unit price.
The regular price.
I hear the original price.
Not quite. Well, I don't know if any of you have ever gone to Costco or something, but if you see the juice lineup, or at least I did recently, they said Adora juice, it costs this much per unit price, this much per unit price. So a unit price is how much something costs per gallon or per liter, per any kind of measurement that you're using. So let's say you have two different kinds of canned beans. And one can weighs 4 ounces. I'm not sure quite how big that would be, but one can weighs 4 ounces, and another can of beans weighs 8 ounces. So the first can of beans that weighs 4 ounces costs $1. The 8-ounce can of beans costs $1.50. So 4 ounce is $1, 8 ounce is $1.50. Which one is the better buy?
8 ounces. $4.
4 ounces was $1. 8 ounces was $1.50.
One that
I just get a